Hi, everyone. This is Brett Kierstead from Knowledge Marketing. Today, we're here for the latest in our webinar series, specifically titled, How One Publisher Solved the Database Riddle. So, today, I have a co-presenter, and I'm very excited to have Rhonda here today, and we'll let her introduce herself here in a minute. From a housekeeping perspective, we'll submit questions using the dialog box for the GoToWebinar dialog box. There's a question submission section that you can input your information and ask questions, and I'll keep an eye on them, and as we go along, if they fit within the flow, we'll be certain to answer them. So we also, everyone, this call is being recorded, so you will be able to request a copy afterwards to get some follow-up if you want to pass it along or share it with anybody else who's interested that may not have been able to attend. So again, by way of introduction, I'm Brett Kierstead. I'm Vice President of Sales for Knowledge Marketing. And just a little bit about Knowledge Marketing as the sponsors and working with Rhonda today. You know, we help publishers focused on leveraging their audience data in a meaningful way, from all of the different components, from consensus database to email marketing to traditional circulation fulfillment responsibilities. We work with leading publishers to help them optimize the value of their audience and connect that information together. And we're pleased to have Rhonda with us today, a great client of ours who's going to talk about not only Advanstar, but also some of the successes that they've had. So by way of introduction, it's Ronda Hughes. Take it away, Rhonda.
Thanks, Brett, and thank you for everyone listening. A little bit about myself. I am the Director of Audience Data for the Pharmaceutical Life Science Division of Advanstar Communications. I've been with Advanstar over 20 years. I worked in many different departments within Advanstar, but most currently, again, I'm the Director of Audience Data, and I'm actually having a lot of fun in this new position. A little bit about Advanstar. Advanstar Communications serves business professionals and consumers in the fashion, life science, and power sports industries with its portfolio of 143 events, 54 publications and directories, and 253 electronic products and websites, as well as educational and direct marketing products and services. Our model really is to connect our customers with theirs. What a perfect way to jump into the conversation of an integrated database. Advanstar Pharmaceutical, the division I work for, serves the information needs of more than 700,000 pharmaceutical and laboratory professionals in the U.S. and abroad. We have a portfolio of 17 publications, 38 online products, and over 140 conferences a year, which includes our conference division, CBI. And our mission is to build platforms, connections, and commerce. Again, fits perfectly into what we're talking about today with integrated databases. So next slide. This is our CAST, our custom audience segmentation tool. You'll be seeing this logo again later in the presentation. What you're looking at now is the article on the slide is an ABM blog posting of the full story of CAST. And for those of you who haven't seen this, I want to give you just a quick summary of where we were before CAST and where we are now. The Pharma Life Science Division had 6 separate databases, which included print, e-news, conference, educational products, webinars, and white papers, and several other baby databases we've kind of found along the way, with a total of 3.6 million records. The good news is we had a lot of data. Probably safe to say that the entire pharma life science universe was probably held in our databases. The bad news is we had no real efficient way of managing, pulling together, or effectively using the data. Not having the ability of true audience segmentation results in mass mailings, which over the years caused us to overuse our email list. We knew this had to stop. This was not only an internal marketing problem, but it also put limitations on what we could offer our clients. Remember, our mission is to build platforms, connections, and commerce. So we needed a solution, and Knowledge Marketing had one for us. Partnering with Knowledge Marketing enabled Advanstar to create a brand audience program called CAST. Again, custom audience segmentation tool. CAST is turning data into marketing power. It's an idea generation tool for clients. CAM was able to take 3.6 million records and dedupe it into and manageable 1.5 million records with consensus data. It only took 8 weeks of implementation, and we have been live in January of this year. CAM now houses our integrated database, but we also use their ECN module for all of our email deployment, and that's critical for our email engagement tracking. CAST has opened the door for more collaboration between us and key advertisers, and also uncovered meaningful on-the-fly queries for valuable audience leads. It also allows us to create integrated custom programs, and that's important. We want to start selling the audience, the target audience, not just the product. Okay, next.
Sorry, hang on.
Come on, Brett.
Sorry.
So we're talking about this. We will be going through 4 key considerations. So if you are participating in this webinar today, you must, in one way or another, have a vision of integrating your data or coming up with a better integrated. So it's important to know that there really are 4 key considerations: strategy, technology, culture, and financials. So first with strategy, I just want to say quickly we'll be covering 4 items under strategy, which is very important. Executive support, leveraging your core competency, just knowing what that is and what that isn't, and begin with an end in mind and have a phased approach. Next. Executive support. Let's face it, we minions of the corporate world can identify problems because we are in the trenches every day, and we can even come up with some really clever, good ideas and solutions. But the only way we can actually move that mountain is if we have a top executive helping us push it along. Ron Wall came to Advanstar and was most definitely the change agent for the pharmaceutical life science group. He had a vision of efficient marketing, new revenue streams, and protecting our golden goose, our email list. His clout and credibility was what made corporate listen to him. He was a true evangelist of this huge integrated database project because he has seen firsthand through his prior company that it not only works, but it can be wildly successful. Next. Okay, core competencies. Well, we're a publishing company, right? So we know we can produce excellent, award-winning content. We have diversity of channels with our print, digital, e-news, websites, webinars, white papers, e-solutions, and conferences. I think we have that part covered. We have BPA-audited audience data and loyal subscribers and decades of strong customer relations. We also have a very reliable circulation fulfillment. We can all agree that these are core competencies needed in order to connect our customers with theirs. Next slide. However, having those core competencies is just that. They're the core. You need that core as a strong base to hold up everything else needed to really connect the dots between clients and customers. As a publishing company, here's where we lack in competencies. Well, integrated data. We didn't have it. Oh, well, we could get it. After about 700 merge purges and 2 weeks of back and forth between database managers and whomever was trying to actually piecemeal it all together. Cross-channel insight. With all of our media channel files residing in separate databases, it was very painful trying to score our own customers. Who gets what? How often do they engage? Application development team, or lack thereof. We do not have the resources for an application development team. Email communication expertise. Our internal email deployment team and marketers do the best they can to keep up with the ever-changing best practices of email marketing, but we just don't have the capacity to be the true experts. With ECN comes a hand-on point person that helps you every step of the way, and she really is a true problem solver, and that's Michelle Ashley. She is fantastic. audience versus product sales, selling our audience versus selling advertising within specific product silos was a real problem and a very, very tough nut to crack. It was very tough to get away with. Strategy beginning with an end in mind. Many struggle knowing where they're going to be quarter by quarter, let alone knowing where they want to be in 2015. This is tough for all of us, but is crucial when making a worthwhile investment. Where do we want to be in 3 to 5 years? How will we sell? Well, hopefully, you'll be selling with an enthusiastic media solutions pitch, right? An integrated database gives you the power to be confident in what you have to offer. What will we sell? Well, let's try to flip everyone's way of thinking. Start out with the entire audience database. What do you have out there? And then backfill it with what type of media to use to reach them. Again, an integrated database allows you to power up any type of what to sell. The possibilities really should be endless on the what. Who will we sell to? This is an interesting one. An integrated database should allow you to broaden your client base because you can find those little hidden nuggets of audience segments you would never be able to uncover when they are hidden in multiple databases. Your client base should increase along with your product portfolio. Revenue mix. This is a big one. Let's be honest. Print revenue is still a struggle and will continue to be. Website and e-newsletter ad revenue helps, but not always supplements for the loss in print revenue. You need to be thinking 3 to 5 years ahead to figure out exactly how you'll continue to supplement shortfalls, but better yet, grow your revenue. Any additional marketing services you can offer your clients will help you grow revenue, and that should be one of your top goals when implementing an integrated database. Next. The phased approach. Understand most obvious short-term pains. For example, mapping your data. That can be very time-consuming and tedious, but it is step one in setting up your integrated database. Be real about it. Assign a small task force. Don't get too many cooks in that kitchen because you can't get anything done that way. Assign a small task force with accountability and hard deadlines and timelines. And please remember, that truly is just a short-term pain. Don't let perfect get in the way of good. That's where I learned very quickly that my OCD will have to step aside. Many of us in publishing have a tendency to get caught up in tiny details. There's going to be plenty of time for working towards perfection. Once you have all the heavy lifting completed, which, by the way, really isn't that heavy because Team KM is right there with you the entire way. So once the heavy lifting is done, then you can iron out some of the tiny little details. Get to live quickly. This is so important. The faster you go to live, the faster you'll understand the true power and value of this product. Lay out the project in future phases, scale and growth. This was a big part of our strategy. We knew exactly what we needed in the database to start out with, but also had 3 additional phases in our back pocket for as soon as possible type implementation. For example, we went to live, right after we went to live, we quickly added email engagement activity to our records, then topic behavioral activity on our e-newsletters, and now we're working on our website behavior. And trust me, it doesn't stop there. It is ongoing. Next. We are on the second key consideration, technology. We're going to talk about buy versus build, focus on departmental use, not features and functions, modularity and flexibility, and publishing-focused vendors. Next. Technology, buy versus build. You have to really understand your core tech or IT competencies. If it's not within your company's expertise to build, maintain, and grow, enhance an integrated database, then what you should be doing is spending your time finding an outside partner that does get it. Resource and opportunity cost, that's people resources. Is your company ready to invest in people who do have the expertise to build, manage, grow this type of database? Most companies are running lean and mean right now. Shared market insight. This one's a big one for me, and one of them that I'm truly impressed with having a partner. There is a true value of working with a partner because we constantly benefit from their knowledge and insight that comes from all their other customers. If you attempt to build it yourself, you only know what you know, not what others know. Financial. When vetting out partners like KM, it's important to take into consideration all the costs in trying to create an in-house system. Next. System use, not features and functions. When deciding on types of integrated databases and looking at different partners, keep in mind the following. Don't be starstruck over bells and whistles. Think about how internal and external constituents will use this product. It does not matter if you have the greatest technology in the world. If your users are unwilling or unable to operate the system, you will never hit any sort of actualization. Understand the capabilities of your users. Often with new technology comes overcomplicated user interfaces. Rather, the growing trend is ease of use, not features, meaning you should be able to select an activity that automatically activates a feature. A good example of the difference is my remote control. When I really want to watch a Blu-ray, instead of turning on the TV, then the Blu-ray player, then the receiver, which are all features, I simply hit Watch Blu-ray. The activity of the remote does the rest. As a user, all I care about is getting to the movie menu, not about the features it takes to get there. This trend is going to continue to grow, and KM really understands the need to build in the technology so that your database is easy to use and getting to the end result is fast and seamless. Next. Department use cases. Now let's look at some real examples of how some internal departments might use an integrated database. The editorial content team. They will be looking for overall performance of their editorial content. This can be measured through the email activity module and tracking actual topic interest from both your push products, your e-newsletters, and your pull products, your websites. Print and digital audience development. They would use the database for both acquisition and brand reach. And if you use KM for your circulation fulfillment, you can also use this database for your requalification efforts. For acquisitions, the integration of data or connecting the dots between records gives our audience development team new blood or new email addresses to promote to. And for brand reach, an example is with the real-time product comparisons showing what customers within my pharmaceutical technology brand receive. They received the print publication and went to a webinar, but for some reason they don't receive an e-newsletters, any of our e-newsletters. And what that does is helps our audience development team have an instant list for that type of e-newsletter promotion. Custom marketing services and sales. You need a system that clients can see and understand how it works and also feel as if they're truly a part of the process. The ease of use and client interaction leaves them feeling wowed. Being able to filter data down to a targeted audience within minutes, even seconds, and the ability to download that list instantly shows the client a real transparency and forms an immediate trust between you and your client. They need to leave the call feeling like your company has made a true investment to help them facilitate commerce. Fulfillment and audit services. KM are also experts in the fulfillment of audited publications. Again, the ease of database use is a help for both internal and external audit purposes. Events growth. Just like print and digital audience development, an integrated database should easily identify past attendees or brand customers that haven't engaged in events for targeted and custom promotions. Industry-level data intelligence. Having instant access to consensus data can actually show you the trend and relationship between specific titles, functions, and businesses within your industry. How about our email marketers? They will use this easy segmentation filters to select a target list versus having to cast a wide net, risking list exhaustion due to overuse. They also have the capability to instantly download the list from the database to our email deployment system. Then the email deployment system actually feeds those metrics back into the database, which is really fantastic metrics to have instantly on your records. Publishers and sales reps brand presentations and reporting. They have instant access to brand and cross reports, demographic reports, behavioral and engagement reports within minutes. Now, if I'm an executive, I care about all of this, right? Next slide. Modularity and flexibility. Support for multiple phases. You need to invest in a database and a partnership that allows you to add additional modules in the future. Integration with existing systems. You need a partner that can help you build real-time or near-time APIs between your existing operational systems and your integrated database. So we already talked about that most people don't have the resources in their IT department to do this for you, and you don't want to have to rely on them 100%. You need a partner that can help you out with this. The open database architecture allows you to continue to grow with technology and data and gives you the opportunity to explore new ideas to ensure your database is unique with state-of-the-art capabilities to ensure your competitive advantage. Next. Last but not least, under the technology consideration is a publishing-focused vendor. There are lots of cool vendors and technologies out there, but you have to find the vendor or the partner that truly understands your core business. Many database vendors have a limited understanding of the publishing business, and if they do, they seem to lack in the knowledge of the new age of publishing. I think we are all very fortunate to be working in publishing during this generation of B2B media transition. Many of us lived in the world of traditional print publishing to now having endless B2B media lead generation possibilities. It's very exciting, but also very important to find a vendor or a partner who actually gets it. Knowledge marketing realizes there are no cookie-cutter situations or companies. Even though they are a single vendor, they offer many choices to make sure your database is customized for you. At this point of the presentation, I have to give a special shout out to Knowledge Marketing's customer service. I have been in the publishing business, like I said, for over 20 years, and I have worked with probably hundreds of vendors. However, I never have worked with a vendor that has dedicated a point person, not only through the integration setup, but always. It's not like one of those things that you have a point person, but once you're up and running, that person falls off the face of the earth or totally off the radar. My point person makes me feel like I am her only customer. She is so accessible. I feel like she is sitting in the office right next door to me. Okay, well, sometimes I feel like she's sitting right in my office right next to me. My shout out goes to Knowledge Marketing's Corey McMahon. She truly made the entire process as painless as possible and continues to be right by my side. KM really does love publishers. Next slide. Here's my favorite of the key considerations, because here is where I spend most of my time. Cultural buy-in, establishing a brand, and educating both internal and external. Next slide. Getting buy-in. Here's what we continue to hear from everybody. Everyone is busy and resources are slim. We don't have time to learn about a new product or tool. Or sales reps already have enough products and tools to worry about. Or we have so many different levels of sales experience, I just don't see how this can work. And mature sales reps are trying to sell traditional solutions to young technical buyers. And that's a big one, actually. And another one we hear all the time is customers know us a certain way, and people are afraid to change that type of outlook. So we know that Knowledge Marketing will perform the data integration, provide the intuitive, user-friendly interface, manage and maintain the technology, and implement it. But we need to consider organizational readiness and facilitating cultural adoption. Again, this is where you will spend most of your time, and I know this because this is where I spend most of my time. Next slide. So here's what we did. With the help of our marketing team in the Pharmaceutical Life Science Division, especially Jan Thompson, we established a brand, CAST. Having a brand helps move a database from what used to be a backroom, hidden, obscure tool into a real interactive, comprehensive audience segmentation tool. One of the ways Advanstar solved the buy-in problem was through branding CAST as a solution to both list abuse and a means to grow new revenue streams. Branding this as a product opens the door to really cool videos on how it works and great promotions and a solid thing to sell. Next. We're not alone in doing this. Our friends at Watt Publishing did the same thing, and their brand is Audience Intelligence Marketing, or AIM. AIM is being promoted as Watt's industry-leading customer database tool, and good for them. Again, Advanstar is not in the boat alone, and I foresee more of these brands coming out there. Next. Education. Got patience? You need it. I'll just come right out there and say it, but it does pay off. You need to educate your individual departments internally, and you also, believe it or not, have to educate your clients on why integrated database and consensus data is so powerful and so useful. And again, the patience pays off. Next slide. Here are some of the departments that will need individual department custom demonstrations, special training, and education before they will fully buy in and embrace the power of integrated consensus data. Having internal training or demonstrations to large combined groups just doesn't work. The way you demonstrate this database to sales is wildly different than how you would demonstrate the database for editors, and different again for audience development. Executives, do your best to beg for at least 15 minutes of their time so you can actually show them the database. Having your segments pre-selected, you can then quickly show the database in motion as you explain how this is going to save money internally and grow revenues through additional marketing services campaigns to current and to new clients. Editors, show them the topic behavioral and the email metrics charts and how we can, with a push of a button, track important content trends. Marketing, show them the importance of audience segmentation and how easy it is to get there with geo, demographics, products, behavioral. And it never hurts to remind them about the easy A/B split testing and using the champion blast through ECN. Sales. Educating sales will be an ongoing process. At first, their eyes will gloss over, but as you show specific examples of list segmentations, their light bulbs will start to go off. They absolutely love the Venn diagram showing audience reach between print and e-news because it's instant proof to their clients that they should be advertising in both medias to reach the entire audience. Again, sales rep education is ongoing, and some will embrace it and others won't. And that could actually be another webinar topic for a different day. IT. It's very important to show your IT or operational database managers the end result of all their file uploads to KM. They need to see how it works and why we ask for files the way we do. It's pretty amazing. Once they see the database in motion, they actually come up with some really good ideas of how to make the next refresh or file uploads easier, or maybe they come up with additional data suggestions. Next slide. External client education. With the help of your sales reps and publishers, you need to get in front of their top advertisers, whether that means face-to-face sales calls, web conferences, sharing your computer screen, or showing off your database brand at a trade show. Your top advertisers need to see the database in motion. Showing how the database works and having them interact with me while we watch their target audience develop right before their eyes is just step one and triggers all sorts of questions. Showing off the database is really the easy part. Educating them on how to use the pool of their newly selected targeted audience and how one-and-done campaigns are a time of the past, and how multi-touch programs with precision nurturing is the way to go, especially when you are tapping into new blood. That is what's taking time and sometimes several conversations and lots of patience. But again, I am proof, Advanstar is proof that it really does pay off. Early adapters are very important. Offer up a freebie to a couple of your top advertisers so you can test the system yourself and get some real results to use as case studies before you go out and announce your new baby to the world. I've given over 120 client demonstrations since January. Every single one of those demonstrations ended on a positive note. Over a third of those demonstrations eventually ended as a sale for 2012. Another third are ready to discuss contracts for 2013. And I have to say, the balance that loved the database but just didn't get it, they'll be back. I have no doubt in my mind. Next slide. The last of the key considerations are the financials. Funding versus ROI, setting reasonable goals, and new sources of revenue. Does that look familiar? The nervous executive with the piggy bank on his head? When you are pitching this investment to corporate, you need to take into consideration eliminating or reducing current expenses when discussing the new expense. When you investigate some of your current expenses, you will quickly see how you can offset some of your new expenses related to the database. You need to remember that corporate is going to want to hear not only how integrating your data and using one email system will preserve your list, therefore increase your internal marketing results, but also what types of new revenue streams will result in this investment. Yes, I keep saying this is an investment, and that is exactly how we approach this project and how we position it with our clients and our internal employees. When clients and employees see that we are actually investing in the future of these markets, they have a real sense of security and trust, and they should. How did we pay for this? Again, it's both moving expenses, saving money because more efficient audience development costs, and adding new revenue streams. Hard dollars versus soft dollars. Corporate loves to see the hard dollar P&Ls. But what they don't see immediately and need to be reminded of are the soft dollars, or results that don't immediately show up on your P&L, but will eventually make a huge difference in their business. Like being the only resource in the market that can offer a quality audience with ad agency caliber marketing services ideas, resulting in a true partnership between the publisher and the client. Next. Set reasonable goals. In year one, you have to be reasonable. Remember, you are spending most of your time educating people. And along the way, you are making money, and saving your audience. At the end of year one, you should have a pretty good idea of what type of benchmarks to set for years 2 through 5. Conversion rates. Like I mentioned, you need to hit the ground running hard and get that database brand in front of people. If you do that, you will not only have very good conversion rates, but you will also be creating a buzz like you can't believe. New client acquisition. We had a handful in year one, which, by the way, will be coming back. However, your primary goal for year one is to loop in your current advertisers, adding more options to their current program that they're running with you. Remember, your database is supposed to trigger additional communications between your client and your customer. It is not meant to replace a current program. Retention goals. There is no reason you shouldn't see close to 100% retention. There shouldn't be one client that doesn't want to come back to you with additional programs. Having an integrated consensus data system gives you the confidence to promise satisfaction. Revenue. Again, just set reasonable goals. We did, and we are very pleased with the results. Next. New revenue sources. Marketing services, which I touched on a lot. Lead generation is second to none. Database management, that is the one I haven't talked to a lot or about a lot during this presentation, which I'll get to in just a second. Cross-channel marketing and multiple channel marketing campaigns. Because it's all integrated, your multi-channel marketing is a lot easier to do. It is not painstaking, and it's actually becoming fun, believe it or not. Again, I didn't talk much about the database management. During a couple of my sales calls this year, I was asked if we, Advanstar and KM, would be willing to take on our clients' database management. This is a very interesting idea and something we will be exploring further in 2013. Next slide. All right, the summary. Well, begin with an end in mind. Have a true strategy. Again, a strategy should be two-pronged. Not only is it saving your list internally and helping your marketing efforts internally, but it's also making money. Be honest about your core competencies. Know what they are and know what they're not. Find the right partner. That is huge. Cultural adoption, internal and external. Be patient and considerate of all constituents. For technology, focus on use cases versus features and functions, and be very open-minded for new revenue opportunities, not just the traditional ones. All right, Brett.
You're up. Very much. We have I really appreciate your time, Rhonda. Thanks for that. It's, obviously, we covered a lot of content, and I know that you've been talked and always willing to talk to other people that reach out to you independently. So thank you so much. There were a few good questions that came in. There's a few good questions that came in that we can cover here. One of the questions was related to the process that you go through when you go out on sales calls. You mentioned you've done 120 sales calls. So can you talk a little bit more about what you're selling? You kind of talked about it at a high level. Are you talking about traditional sources of media? Are you talking about brand? You kind of touched on that, but I think one of the questions is expanding on that. You know, is it an all-above thing? Maybe you can tell us some more information about that.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to say, I don't think out of the 120 sales calls, every single one of them are different because your clients want and need different things. So it's a conversation. It's not a templated script that you go in with. It's actually sitting down and having a conversation of, first, let me show you what we have in this database and how quick it is to pull this information up. We ask them what their core audience is. We select it. I select it right before their very eyes. And once we get that pool of records, then we start having a conversation of, okay, this is just used to power out anything you want to send out. And no, it's always in conjunction with their traditional print ad, their banner ad, their e-newsletter ad. This is over and above. It's like, hey, do you want to do some market research to these records? Do you want to send out, we know with some clients, we've helped them with some really cool content pieces and white papers. Let's repurpose them and send them out. The minute we send anything out on their behalf and a customer, one of our customers, clicks on that link, that becomes their lead to continue to nurture. So we, just like CAM is kind of a partner to us, we become Advanstar, I become a partner to that client, and I help them grow their own internal database with new leads.
Thank you. There's another interesting question that was submitted, which is after you go out and you work with these clients, and maybe you and a salesperson go out and actually, let's say, sell a new campaign or sell the database or sell access to the information. What happens then? Who internally within Advanstar then, kind of manages the project, if you will? Who works with your, marketing and sales and the different constituents?
Again, that all depends. If it's easy and they have let's say they have the design piece, and all they need is to send it out, and we know exactly how we're going to, it's a multiple touch campaign, but they have the creative. I can do that. I mean, it doesn't take long. I send up an order to our e-media team and we deploy. However, many of our customers, they don't have the resources internally to create their own piece. They might not have resources internally to promote their own content. If that's the case, Advanstar really is full service. I mean, we have our creative services department. We have our editors who obviously are experts in content. I also have the help of a few people in marketing that and it's a tough problem to have. When I have many projects going on, I do have backup that will help see through the order. What we don't do is take them on and then drop the ball. We have full customer service, whether it's me, my marketing team, or the other Advanstar departments. But we do see the project from start to end. And even at the end, it's not done. With ECN, you have great metrics tools and reports, and we walk over those reports with them, and we say, you know what, next time, let's try this. And we give ideas from audience, coming from audience development. We have a lot of testing ideas that I can give out, and they're looking for the full, almost like I said earlier, more of the ad agency caliber type promotion. So,
thank you. So there's two questions that are kind of related to each other, and I think, you know, we've talked about, obviously there's a certain level of disclosure about the financial piece of it, but one of the questions, I guess I would say a couple that are related to together, a little bit around monetization and things like, you know, are you getting higher, you know, rates for services that maybe in the past you had a lower service for, or are you getting again, traditional measurements like CPM, maybe that's gone out the window. But when you look at your customer revenues on that basis, are there any specifics that you can share, or along that line?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the one thing I can suggest is this is not like a third-party list rental program. It should never be treated as such, and therefore you should have higher premiums. You should be asking more money than what many publishers partner with a third-party list broker, right? And they send all of their publication lists, and the third-party list broker helps to rent those lists out. Even you might have some clients, C-level clients, that go through them to rent your print publication email list, for example. This is different. This should be treated as different, and it should be charged as different. This is not, shouldn't be a one-and-done type campaign. And again, when I talk about new blood or new email addresses in this system, you have to remember that that is truly the case. If you have a client that is typically used to renting your print email list, think about what I just said. It's from a print product, right? And you're renting the email list. So many circulations of your print products, most of them do not have 100% emails on that circulation list, right? But now that we've connected the dots between our print database, our e-newsletter database, our webinar database, our conference database, etc., we're finding those email addresses in different databases to connect the dots. So our system is more robust and offers new blood, and so yes, we are charging a higher CPM than just going to our regular third-party list broker.
Excellent. One other question that came up, which I think is, I'm kind of curious how you do it too. Obviously, you personally are in there, you know, a user of the data and in actually using the system. Is anyone else, or are you? What does that plan look like in the future, whether it's salespeople or marketing people?
Okay, sales, they don't have access to it. Their goal is to sell, and I'm learning in this database every day. It is so easy to use, and that's the good news. But also the better news is knowledge marketing, as you know. You guys are always adding new enhancements and new functions to this. Once a month, I open it up. There is something new in there, and I keep finding better ways of slicing and dicing the data. So we don't want our sales reps to even try to, go into the system and understand it. They just won't. I do, however, our marketing services team for internal marketing, they do have access to go in and do some easy selections, but they often come to me and ask for suggestions on how to better target that audience. And again, it's back to that educational piece. We'll all continue to learn with this, but I will always probably be training the marketing people of how to go in there and to really select the audience they're looking for. We have our conference department. They do over 140 conferences a year. They have their own marketing team. That's the group that really know how to go in and select target audiences for for their purposes, and that took, again, a lot of education. I am the point person. I'm the one that does the training, but there are other people within Advanstar that use it daily, and it's mostly for the internal marketing.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much. It's 1:45, and we've got like a slew of questions that are still unanswered, but I think in just respect of the time, and we appreciate you making time. You know, I think Rhonda, on your behalf, I mean, Rhonda's a great resource. She's, you know, if you're interested in downloading the we'll be sending you along the presentation for everybody that attended here. You can hear her talk a little bit more about it. I'm sure, Rhonda, knowing the way you're out and about and this recognition that you get, I'm sure people will come up and contact you and talk to you some more about it, and I'm sure you encourage people to do so as part of your own networking.
Oh, absolutely. And Brett, if you want to send me those questions, I will try to, you know, via email, I'll do my best to answer them, and then maybe you can circulate them later or something.
Okay, sounds good. And just from an event perspective, any of you that are out at Folio, we'll all be out there. Rhonda, congratulations, is receiving a very, very high award from NTCFI on January 9th in New York. So it's going to be a fun trip in the cities. Of course, assuming that the world doesn't blow up on December 21st, assuming we all get there, we'll get a chance.
I'll throw away that Mayan calendar, Brett.
That's right. So, and next month we have another webinar in this series. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the other initiatives. Rhonda's touched on some today, but there's a lot of other clients and companies that we talked to are doing great things in 2013. So, everyone, thank you so much for attending. We'll send out follow-up from this, and if you have any additional questions, feel free to submit them, and I can also pass them along to Rhonda as well. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks so much, Rhonda.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.